Hey guys, how's it going? It's Nicola Rodriguez from Australia Down Under, and yes, I haven't been here very much lately, and there's a couple of reasons behind that one. But today I wanted to come on and have a chat about vulnerability. Um, what does vulnerability even mean to you, right? Okay, so let's talk being vulnerable. What does it mean? Well, I think probably 99% of the world walks around with their masks on, not being vulnerable. Okay. We don't allow ourselves to be vulnerable. We're too scared of being hurt. We're too scared of being judged. We're scared of people not being able to understand us. We've grown up in a society where, tell me if you've heard this saying before, guys. If you've heard this saying, I want to see some of those buttons being pressed, because I would say that almost anybody who is watching this has heard this saying before. Do you remember the one your parents used to say, "What are you crying about? I'll give you something to cry about." Or what about, "Don't cry over spilt milk"? Or what about the one where you're growing up and people say, "Look at that, mate, take a bag of cement, harden the fuck up"? We hear these types of sayings all the time throughout our life, right from when we're a little tiny kid, right up to how old we are now, no matter what age you're at. We hear these things come from other people that we truly in our heart hoped that they would allow us to be vulnerable, to allow us to cry, to be able to pick us up and carry us when we can't carry ourselves. But instead, we're raised with self-beliefs that it's not okay to be vulnerable. It's not okay to cry over that spilt milk. It's not okay to break down and let your emotions come out on the outside. Why is that? Why as a human race are we doing that? And if you're doing it to your children, if you're a parent now and you're using these sayings towards your children, stop doing it. All you're doing is instilling in them that there is nobody on the face of the earth who is going to accept them for them, and that there's nobody, because you as their parent are supposed to be that one person that they can trust solely, wholeheartedly, be able to break down, to have that cry, to tell you the most terrible and most fearful things that are going on inside their head. Okay? What if they can't tell you, who are they going to tell? The people that they look up and trust the most, the people who are supposed to have their back, their parents, their siblings. If they can't trust those people, then what happens? We learn not to be vulnerable. We learn to eat that bag of cement and harden the fuck up. We learn to hide ourselves. We go through these emotions and we bury them so far down that in our conscious mind, we tell ourselves that we're okay. When people ask you, "Are you okay?" we tell them, "Yeah, we're great," or, "Oh, yeah, we'll get over it." But sometimes we don't get over it. Sometimes that emotion never goes away and it buries itself inside your body. So consciously you think you've dealt with it, but inside your body can't cope with it. So just like an illness, just like a dis-ease, it stores it in your body. And then things start happening in life. Maybe the way you view life changes. Maybe you can't tolerate certain people anymore. Maybe you're just angry. Maybe you get really sad now. There's lots of things and lots of different, like you can have financial issues. Maybe you get some weight gain or weight loss. Not necessarily always putting on the weight, but maybe you've just lost rapid amount of weight. Maybe you're struggling at work now. Maybe your memory's fading. You can't remember things. There's so many effects that these emotions that we suppress can cause us throughout our life. You know, even learning difficulties can be caused by emotions that are trapped inside our body because we haven't been allowed to be vulnerable. I'm one of those people. And today I openly admit that I have always been one of those people who cannot be vulnerable, who do not allow people into my real world of what's going on under this. I don't open the door to my house and allow people in. There's only pretty much up until, a few weeks ago, I couldn't even count the amount of people on my hands who have actually seen me completely vulnerable, who have seen me be that person in that fetal position who can't breathe, can't talk, can't see, can't walk, and is just breaking. There is very minimum people in my life who have seen that. And I've always, no matter what, always just gathered up the pieces, chucked them in the bag over my back and kept going. And then I'd have a little bit of a break here or there. But once again, that bag broke. I just gathered up the pieces, chucked them over my back and kept going. Until, a couple of weeks ago. This year, I made the decision that I was putting myself first. And this was the year of, taking care of myself and learning what self-love is and self-care and all of those things to be able to fill my cup up first so that when my cup's full, I can overfill my love to my kids and my husband and my family and my friends and to my clients and to everybody that I come in contact with. That was my goal for 2020. But I've learned my lesson very early this year. And I've learned that you need to be vulnerable and you need to allow the pain to come out. Don't let the pain come out to hurt other people, but let the pain come out so other people can see what's really happening on the inside. I'm like that candle who I allow any single person that needs a bit of help or the people that I love and care about to come along and to light their candle from my flame. But here's the problem. My wax has run out. There is no more wax, and the wick is now burning on itself. And within moments, that wick is no longer going to exist, and my flame is going to be extinguished. So this week, yes, there hasn't been any live videos because I didn't want to expose my vulnerability onto Facebook and social media. But I did learn very, very hard lesson to be vulnerable with those people who are closest to me in my personal life. Wow. Whew. Okay, to be extremely vulnerable, to let people know what was going on, to let people know how I was feeling on the inside, to let people know that I needed someone to carry me just for a little bit. So I did that. And I tell you what, it was a wicked ride. It was a roller coaster that I did not want to be on, but it was a roller coaster that I had to get on, that I had to experience, that I have to go through the pain, because only in pain do we find growth. When you live in a comfy life, you don't change anything. It's too comfortable. But when you're living in pain internally, whether it be emotional or physical, you grow. You make the decision to change. So what I'm asking all of you to do is this year, learn to be vulnerable. If none of you have ever heard of Brene Brown, I suggest maybe getting on and watching a couple of her documentaries or reading her books, because she's also a very, very big believer, very, very big in believing that vulnerability and being vulnerable has been lost within this world and that it's not socially acceptable. But that's where we've failed as a society and we've failed as human beings. Most of the time, we don't step up and we don't take action unless something is directly affecting ourselves. Unless they're affecting ourselves, we just kind of go, I'll just donate some money to that, or I'll just, do my little bit and off I go. It's not about that, guys. You need to rip it all away. You need to have that complete meltdown with somebody who can see you. And I'm not talking about just seeing you for face value like this, but somebody who can actually see you inside. They can see that inner child, the one who's been told to harden the fuck up. They can see that that child's broken, and they're there to extend their hand and to help you learn how to walk again. So that's where I've been the last week. I have been on the vulnerability train, roller coaster. It has been a wild ride. And even though being vulnerable as well, I went out of my way to make sure that I wasn't working with any clients last week. I didn't want to put my vulnerability of myself and not be able to give my clients great results. So for the first time ever, I was vulnerable with my clients, and I told them that I was not in the energy space to be able to give them a good session and good results. Because the old me, the safe face me, would have just said I'm having internet troubles or I'm having technical issues. But this time I allowed myself to be vulnerable, and those clients were so understanding, and they still booked in a new session. So guys, learn how to be vulnerable. Learn to tell the truth of what's really going on. And if those people around you are still telling you to harden the fuck up, you need a new circle. You need a new support group. And don't just have a support group. I mean, I have an amazing support group. I have people that I can reach out to all the time, but I'm not vulnerable with them. So this is the first time that I've actually been vulnerable within my support groups, and have, actually let people in. So for some people, it was a real big, massive shock, because I'm the go-to person for everybody else. I'm the one that everybody else comes to when they have a problem, or when they're suffering, or they need some help, or they just need a shoulder to cry on, or they just need some support. That's me. I'm that go-to person. But when I figured out I didn't have one of those people for myself, that's when the world starts crumbling around you. So you need to make a choice. And I choose to be vulnerable. I may not splash it all over social media or Facebook of what's going on, but I'll be vulnerable with those that I know who are there to extend their hand and to help me walk when I can't carry myself. And for each one of you that have been there for me for this week and have seen the crazy turmoils and the breakdowns and the crying and the screaming and the wailing and the not being able to move and not being able to even talk or breathe or just being all over the place, I thank you so very much, because without you, I wouldn't have learned how to be vulnerable, and I would have still been that person who puts on the mask and says everything's okay when it's not. So thank you very much for being there for me. You are truly wonderful people at heart. So today, guys, go and find your vulnerability. Don't find a pity party. We're not looking for pity party people, guys. I seriously, there's a big difference between having pity party people and having vulnerability support people, okay? Huge difference, huge difference. So Thanks very much for watching. And I'm really, even though I've been going through this massive change and learning all these new experiences, you may have seen some really in-depth posts that I've been posting lately. And they're from things that I've been experiencing and knowledge that I want to share with others. The more that I come in tune with myself and be intuitive, the more messages I get and the more I want to share with others. So this year, I'll be focusing on attending speaking gigs and being able to speak to more people. I want to be seen and I want to be heard. And this year, I'm going to make the effort for that to happen. So if you like any of the things that I say or that I stand for or the posts that I post, you sharing them is just lights me up. It makes me feel worth, like I actually feel deserving of what I'm doing and feels like I'm actually helping other people. So by having you guys share some posts around, which has just been amazing this week, the amount of shares on posts and interaction and people reaching out has just been incredible. So please keep it up. It's not there for my ego. It's there because I want to know that I'm making a difference. I don't want to make millions of dollars in my life, but I do want to change millions of lives while I'm here. So thank you for helping me do that. And thank you for being a part of my journey. If there is anywhere that I can help you along your journey or help you to open the door to your vulnerability or just be able to find the key to the door of self-love, please reach out. Let's have a chat, because I might remove trapped emotions from other people, but I also needed some removed from myself. So I am not the ultimate. I am not the be-all. I am not the end-all, and I am not the end of the road. There are other people who I reach out to as well. There are other coaches, mentors, and healers that I reach out to when I need a healing. So don't think that us who do healings for other people don't get healings for ourselves. Because when we do, we know that we need that help. So we reach out and we ask for that healing. And I'm extremely blessed to have Tom Hines do a healing on me yesterday. That incredible, absolutely incredible healings. And today my energies are back. Today I feel so much weight off my shoulders. I feel so much more light inside me and love inside me. And I don't feel like I have something hanging over me anymore. So a huge thanks to Tom. Thank you very much for everybody, for all your support, all your love, and for just being there. So go and have an amazing day. But just remember, the only person that you can be better than is the person that you were yesterday. So if you're still learning to be vulnerable, I'm here to tell you it's okay. Alrighty, guys, go and put a smile on your face, and if not, somebody else's. Enjoy your night, morning, day, wherever you are, and we'll talk again soon. Bye.